all the booty gurus? Where they at? Where are all the booty gurus? Because it seems to me like they are either in the wind, i.e. they have moved on to TikTok, or if they are still doing the YouTubes, they are in fact down bad. Views are trash, subscriber count ain't moved in years, hard relate, and there's a general disconnect between now and the glory days of coasting on vlog content from brand trips and face full of first impressions videos, making 6 figures a month in AdSense alone. What's the crack, family? It's your girl T, aka Nappy Headed Jojoba. Not Nappy, not Jojoba. Nappy Headed Jojoba. You have to say the whole thing. It's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And it just seems like the booty gurus are washed up, has-beens. I say this as a never was. And now when they do happen to pop up in my recommended, it's a little awkward, like, ooh, remember her? She used to be really popular. Now, I think many of us are well aware of the phenomenon of creator burnout by now. I know I sure am. Intimately. But it really is remarkable how all the booty gurus with hundreds of thousands, if not millions of subscribers seem to have all but vanished from the platform. And some are just gone. Like they ain't posted on YouTube in months, if not years sometimes. And they ain't really doing anything anywhere else either. Whereas many of them gurus have just switched their focus to TikTok instead, as well as Instagram. Although let's be clear, TikTok is the social media of the moment. This ish is cyclical, so it's only a matter of time before TikTok is eclipsed by the next thing in the same way that TikTok eclipsed Instagram. But why have the gurus left YouTube for these other platforms? The obvious answer is they're easier. If you can make 5 to 6 figures on one IG story post, that's a hell of a lot less work than making an entire YouTube video. And I talked about this before in this video, so I'm gonna leave that there so we can move. However, I don't think it's just that TikTok and IG are easier. I've noticed that a lot of the booty gurus seem to be as tired of the same tired-ass eyeshadow tutorials as we are. Let's be real, a lot of these girls quit working at a Mac counter to do YouTube full-time back in 2010 or whatever, so it's not like you're gonna find titans of makeup artistry and innovation left and right. Sadly, anything outside of the IG thought aesthetic of 10 or so years ago is going to be out of a lot of these gurus' depth. And it is a bit shocking to see, even as someone who more or less jumped ship on makeup YouTube before even the first Dramageddon happened, a word which now makes me roll my eyes so hard every time I hear it I almost faint. But a lot of the gurus were still living large through and past Dramageddon, as well as its sequels, but over time it seems like nearly all of the booty gurus have left the platform, and they've pivoted, shall we say, to be more lifestyle focused. Some are suddenly cosplaying as an overnight fragrance expert, some are serving tragic fashion posts, some are pimping out sham relationships as couple goes, whereas others are posting fitness routines even though they got their bodies on an operating table and not in the gym. Lifestyle content nonetheless is the wave with the girlies who just a few years ago were trying to sell us yet another black eyeliner. Under this lifestyle umbrella, I've noticed that fragrance is one of the major areas where these gurus are hustling to resurrect lost coin, which I think is at least partly due to the Cove. We was inside for 2 years, nowhere to go, no one to see, and if you did go out, masking up destroyed not only the makeup, but the mask, so there wasn't much point in a beat face. Therefore, I think fragrance became a big part of a lot of people's lives during and after 2020. I mean, I know it did for me. It was just one way that I was able to still feel put together and just better, even though I was wearing sweatpants full time. So I definitely got way more into fragrance during and largely due to Rona, and this is a segue. Today's video is sponsored by Scentbird, a monthly subscription box for fragrance. Now, in the before times, I would only really wear perfume if I was going out or maybe if I was going to work, if I remembered. But as I mentioned a moment ago, I really grew to love wearing fragrance just for me during quarantine. You know, a few spritzes after my nighttime shower before going to bed became a surprisingly big part of how I love on and pamper myself in my daily routine. To be clear, I am nowhere near being a nose for the big fragrance houses or anything like that, but I know what I like, and I'm also having fun experimenting with new types of scents a bit more out of my comfort zone. Each Scentbird atomizer holds 8 mils, which is about 140 sprays, so your girl is set for a good while. This one here is Chloe's signature scent, which is actually also my signature scent because I've worn it for years. It has notes of rose, verbena, and cherry blossom, and it just vibes well with me and my chemistry, so I'm really happy to have this to take in my purse or my overnight bag. I also got Belle by Toka to try out, and this one's notes are Italian bergamot, petit grain, and white frisé. I love the Simone fragrance from this brand, so this was a must try. Next up is Hayley Kiyoko's Hue, which has notes of blood orange, watermelon, lychee, rose, and musk. They had me at blood orange because I love fresh citrusy scents. And last, I have English Laundry's number 7. Its notes are vanilla, whipped cream, almond, gardenia, and pear. So 3 new fragrances for me to play with, plus a 4th, which is my all-time favorite. Much excite. Make sure to click the link in the D box and use my code right here for 55% off your first month at Scentbird. And for the Nat fam up north, Scentbird is now available in Canada. So give them a click and a spritz and a sniff and get yourself smelling good. Back to the matter at hand. With this, as with all things, I am honest with y'all about what I don't know, and I sure as hell ain't nobody's parfumé. And yet, a lot of these ex-booty gurus are acting like they are. Is weird, but it also makes sense in booty guru logic because an affiliate link is an affiliate link. If they can influence just 2 of yous to buy a $300 perfume through their link, they're still making more money than if they're able to influence 10 of yous to buy a $20 mascara. Of course, if you check out today's sponsor, you can save yourself some serious cabbage and try out a new perfume before committing to a big old bottle of something you might not even like, but we're past that part of the video, I digress. Anyhow, what is lifestyle content exactly? Nobody knows. The beautiful thing about branding yourself a lifestyle vlogger or content creator is it sounds like you're saying something and yet conveniently you're not answering the question at all. Even better, it requires less pretense of authority or knowledge within a specific field or art form like, oh, I don't know makeup. So even if you manage to climb the algorithm ranks to millions of subscribers on YouTube with unblended bronzer, highlighter that makes you look like the Tin Man but also sweaty somehow, and foundation that has never, not once matched your neck, or your face in some cases, by rebranding as a lifestyle content creator, you're no longer beholden to having to have any skills whatsoever, really. You can make TikTok after TikTok after TikTok of you quite literally washing ass, proudly declare it content, post them referral links to your coochie soap or your booty hole bleach, available at Ulta, and take the rest of the month off. I wish I was kidding, especially since I'm not even on TikTok, so I didn't know this until someone showed it to me, but yeah, this really is a trend on there right now of watch me shower videos, I guess. Anyway, I do know that TikTok does allow creators to monetize their content after reaching a certain threshold of followers or views or some combination thereof. I'm not sure. I don't really know specifics of their monetization scheme, and I don't even know how lucrative it is compared to just being paid by brands to post. But I imagine that, like YouTube hashtag spawn content, disclosed or not, it's how these ex-gurus are maintaining the lifestyles that they originally grew accustomed to by doing the exact same undisclosed ads on here. I do feel that the end of makeup YouTube as we used to know it was inevitable, and not only because of the loss of trust thanks to the Morphe Mafia or the Dramageddons making the whole YouTube makeup genre seem ghetto. The fact is, a lot of people just no longer care. They don't care about Jeff Sar, they don't care about Tarte, they don't care about Jimmy Chuck, and so on. We're on to you, the jig is up, we don't care about your manufactured drama. And for some of us, you were never relevant in the first place. But I think the beauty YouTube of 2015, its heyday, always had an expiration date because of user fatigue. I think a lot of us were/are just tired of hauls and tutorials and just so much makeup. And I know I'm not the only one who grew tired of a lot of the booty YouTubers themselves once the nouveau riche flexing really got out of control. I did a video a while ago about how we hate it when our faves become successful, and it is here if you care, and you probably do not, I don't blame you. But what I really hate is when my faves change after becoming successful. Then again, I'm also a big believer that money doesn't change who you are, it reveals it. Celebrities are different from YouTubers because with a Kanye West or whoever, and most of y'all already know how I feel about him, but I think he's a good example. Even for a lot of people who don't like him, there's still at least some curiosity about whether his next album will be any good. Not me. I haven't listened to any of them since My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy, but I still semi-understand the longevity there despite his relentless shit when compared to the shit of someone who makes videos about new blushes. All artists have to evolve, and by no means are all YouTubers or Instagrammers or TikTokers artists, but there is an inevitable need to evolve to survive on these platforms. People don't want to watch what they used to watch on the whole, and a lot of them don't even want to watch where they used to watch. So you can't make the shit that you used to make. YouTube is the platform with which I am most familiar because, as I said, I don't have TikTok and my IG is even more of a flop than this channel is. So I will say that I do think that YouTube itself is driving a lot of creators away by not only suppressing content, but by shoving their agenda down our throats. Why are y'all putting Johnny Depp movies in my feed as recommendations? I mean, I know why, but I have neither the time nor the interest in giving that situation any more attention. I do believe that YouTube industry plant channels, if you will, are at an all-time high. Now that, maybe I'll talk about that in its own video because woo chile, I have thoughts. Long story made less long, in my opinion, there are algorithms now that are punishing channels that don't play ball with YouTube product updates and other algorithms rewarding those who do. So if you're using features like Shorts, aka their TikTok ripoff, or memberships, aka their Patreon ripoff, I have only anecdotal evidence and observations which suggest that perhaps allegedly, you will be promoted rather than suppressed on this platform. More and more creators inside and outside of the beauty sphere of YouTube are no longer willing to stay in this abusive partnership with a company who legit doesn't communicate and expects you to just be a mind reader to figure out what they want. YouTube has always been clandestine about what they want, and that is part of their strategy to conceal what they're doing behind the scenes to juke stats as a means to their ends. Looking at how bad the views are on beauty channels that used to dominate, again, channels that often have subscribers in the millions, and then comparing those views to the channels that dominate now, it's not even the first 24 hours of content going live that matters anymore. If you are one of YouTube's chosen ones, the bulk of your views are nearly always in the first 6 to 12 hours, and you may be pushed for 24 to 48 hours if they really like your ass. When it comes to the chosen ones, it almost never stops being white males and the occasional white woman, for diversity, of course. I do recall seeing one makeup YouTuber have a ridiculously quick come up last year, despite horrible titles with tired 2012 caliber content, but again, white woman. But I can tell you who damn sure ain't getting the YouTube algo bump any longer. The booty gurus I remember watching when I was young and still in my late 40s. It seems like YouTube itself has curved most of the makeup girlies who brought a lot of us here in the first place, which I do think is in part due to how bad a look the Dramageddons were to the point of becoming mainstream news. At this point, most channels have less than half a day before a video will flatline and see the bulk of views it will see in its entire lifetime. Going viral is kind of not a thing anymore. It's kind of a meaningless term because the numbers the successful channels of today get are always what would have once been considered viral. 1 million plus views in a few hours, maybe a day. And the frequency and consistency of these kind of numbers mean that it's no longer viral, it's just standard now. As always, there are of course exceptions, like if a hot topic comes back later and gives new life to an old video about that very thing. Like my old Dave Chappelle video that I did from when Sticks and Stones came out. That might be an example since he's been in the news again a lot since I made that video, but I deadass have not even checked and you shouldn't bother either. My point stands. Nowadays, if your shit ain't performing in the first 6 hours, odds are it ain't never gonna. And these changes in not just user behavior but YouTube policies have done more than just drive the booty gurus away to other temporarily greener pastures in a 9:16 aspect ratio. Because what YouTube is doing is what capitalism has already done writ large, and that's alienate people. There really isn't much hope to be a working class YouTuber anymore, especially in the makeup field where maybe you do makeup YouTube full time but you still live a more modest life. Like the type of AdSense check where even an above ground pool would be a flex. It's rich YouTube, which on the whole ain't the makeup girls anymore, and hobbyist YouTube only now, where you can maybe pay your internet bill with your AdSense coin. A bill which, funny enough, you have to pay to do your hobby in the first place. Love that for us. There you have it. Those are my thoughts on this strange mass exodus of all of the booty gurus from YouTube. Had y'all even noticed? Because I almost didn't. I unsubscribed from so many of them, probably all of them really, years ago. So I almost didn't realize that a lot of them just like straight up ain't doing YouTube anymore. So I have my thoughts that I just shared with you guys on why that is. So feel free to chime in with yours. But until the next video, Make sure y'all stay safe, stay dangerous, and never, it's still true, never trust anyone with a Morphe code. Bye-bye.
That's a nappy-headed hose there, I'm going to tell you that now.